Hi everybody, welcome to Ajda News. My name is Maria. Happy Thursday, Throwback Thursday. Happy August 1st. Happy day after day 2, debate 2 of the Democratic debates. So post-debate, I wanted to do a little bit of chit-chat, and here's what I got to say. I absolutely love CNN. If anybody came to my home, they would see CNN was on in the background all the time. Kind of a little too much. I have to physically make myself go turn it off or turn the channel to something else because it makes no sense to have cable TV and all these channels if I'm just going to keep it on one. But I do have my lineup I like. I wake up in the morning with early start at 4 in the morning. By 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'm ready to have a cup of coffee and sit down with, it used to be Chris Como and Allison Camerado, and now it's John Burton and Allison Camerado. And that's just how I start my morning after I've done my prayers and my exercising and everything. I'm ready to just hear a little news. Not a lot, a little. And then moving right along as I'm vacuuming, dusting, and getting stuff done around my house, I'm checking in on Jim Sciutto and Poppy Harlow, and a little later on I'm checking in on Wolf Blitzer and Jake Tapper, and I'm convinced that when the world ends and everything is going crazy, the last thing I'm going to hear is a really warped voice, and it will be Wolf Blitzer saying, CNN is going to stay right with you till the end. Keep it here with breaking news. I'm convinced I will hear Wolf's voice, okay? So, moving on to the night, I go do what I want to do, but then I usually know that sometime in the evening I'm going to catch Erin Burnett, who I like a lot. She's a little bit snarky, and I like that. Snarky in a witty way, and kind of in a pissed off way. She's kind of always kind of like, I don't get that. I love that about her. My main three people are Anderson Cooper, who does the ridiculous, who I think I would love to see do a little spoof comedy, but then he wouldn't be taken so seriously, and he is a fiercely serious, very human reporter who I adore. I adore his giggle, I adore his coverage, I adore that he reaches out to everybody and actually puts his hand on their shoulder and gives a hug and says thank you. I love the human connection there that he makes everywhere, that he's always made. So I watch Anderson Cooper, and moving right along, I go to Chris Como, who I adore, because he's been able to ride a fence of poo, really understanding the political parties at work, and yeah, the dark forces at work, and the good that still can be done when public servants want to serve. But he has seen all sides of it. He grew up in a very political family, and yet a very, let's just say, I think he understands the Trumps of the world and is still trying to wait for Donald Trump to get on board a little bit, or reason with him, or get him to reconcile to be better. And that's not going to happen, and I keep watching Chris as he's struggling to not be really nasty about Donald Trump, to not get in the gutter. So he's kind of riding the fence, but I love that he's able to break it down in a law tone. Let's look at what the law says. Let's argue this out in a manner that is respectable, and let's hear all sides and break it down. Let's get to it. I enjoy that about Chris, and he's not bad on the eyes either. And then I love Don Lemon because he already knows all the Donald Trumps of the world, and he's like, you know what? Gave you a chance. I'm not playing. I know who you are. I know that man in the White House who you are. I've dealt with you my whole life, and I'm just going to keep on moving. I'm not going to pretend that you're going to get better, you're going to get presidential, or anything is going to be okay. I'm just going to move ahead. Okay, so I was really excited to see that CNN was going to be hosting and moderating. However, the first night I was really just struggling to keep up with the debate. Because every time Dana Bash said, thank you, and moved on to the next person and didn't look up to see if somebody wanted to respond. And every time Jake Tapper said, thank you, moving right along to the next person, I felt like I was hearing Donald Trump when he says, thank you to the news reporters, bye-bye, bye-bye, I'm done with you. There was no ability for congruency of response and explanation with this 1 minute thing. And I know CNN didn't make it up. Now CNN has been known to be the little shit disruptors who like to pick fights. So if you were to Google the moderators of the Democratic debates, the first thing you're going to see in Google is CNN moderators botched the first 2 Democratic debates. CNN moderators are picking a fight. And we're not talking about news. I want to show you what I mean here. I looked up moderators for Democratic debate. First thing in Google that comes up is mainstream media shreds CNN Democratic debate. The clear intent was to spark fights. Okay, that's Fox News, so I'm not paying it too much mind, right? State, how CNN botched both Democratic debates. Los Angeles Times. At the Democratic debates, CNN set a trap, but blamed the candidates for taking the bait. The New York Times, this was better. 5 highlights from tonight's Democratic debates. Vox, not Fox, Vox. Democratic debate, July 2019, 4 winners, 3 losers. Democratic debate transcript, you really want to look that over, that's with NBC News. Late night TV, which shocked me. Comedy Central was Democratic presidential debates, night 2. There was a lot of the moderators. Democratic debate, CNN moderators question echoes GOP talking. Mainstream media, there he is again. News or sports, Dana Bash. Okay, so there seems to be a feeling of when you Google these things, what's coming up is that they had an agenda. Now, what I've been saying right along is the media plays a big role in the political process, huge role, and it is very much like what is his name, Andrew Yang said last night. It's like reality TV. We are choosing presidents based on how long they can stay in a debate, how much money they can earn, how quickly in a 1 minute they can answer a question. And I think Joe Biden pushed back against this today and really started talking about it. And I've been talking about this entire 20 people debating should not be a problem. There were, 17? How many people debated with the Republicans? I don't even remember. I'll look it up. I think it was a total of 17. There does not need to be 2 nights, 1 minute, 3 hours, and then a post show of analyzing it. Just what could have been done in these first 2 debates is put everyone on the same stage, take 1 night, pay a little extra on the advertising, pay for some extra advertising, give them more than a minute. give them time to respond and explain. And by God, I mean, I felt like a lot of people were cut off on the first night. I felt like the minute Elizabeth Warren started to speak, it was like, thank you, and went along. Excuse me, your time is up. The second night seemed to go better. It seemed like the moderators got in tune with. I didn't have the problem with Don Lemon. I felt like Don Lemon got right to his list and just kept asking his questions and really listening to people and letting them, but it felt like Jake Tapper was kind of like his hand on the buzzer, like, okay, done, thank you, and Dana Bash too. Okay, thank you. I don't know what you said, but thank you. I don't mean that to be in a bad way. I mean, because she's really good with the news. I mean, like, if somebody was over here saying, instead of going to respond to that, which would have clarified it, which is the same freaking thing that happens in the Democratic Congress every time there's a hearing, every time there's a filibuster, every time there's something going on, every time there's testimony of any kind, everybody's asking their questions, getting their few minutes in, and nobody's following up and tightening it all up and making it congruent so there's one clear message. So there were moments in the first night where I really felt like I'm lost. I'm really feeling Bernie, Elizabeth, and Marianne Williamson is wowing me. And don't dismiss her. Don't you dare dismiss her. And how dare they make it be, 1 minute if you get called on, if there's a question for you. Who decides? Who decides? And then, okay, now that the Democrats have tightened it up even more, they have to earn a certain amount of money by the end of August, or they're not even going to make it in. Let's look at the rules, which are really absurd. Absurd. And this is what's wrong with our entire electoral voting process. It's just nuts. Let me find it. Oh, I lost my pages. All right. I'll get it. Dems. Debate. Candidates. And that will show me who's left. Only 7 candidates have qualified for the next Democratic debate. I can't even watch. Okay. Democrats baffled that 20 candidates go on the attack. I was too. I felt like, again, why didn't they hand everybody a baseball bat and just say, oh, go do your batting practice with Joe Biden? Okay, it's clear there is a group that does not want to go back to the 8 years of Obama. And I think, again, I love President Obama and Michelle Obama and their daughters and even their dog and Joe Biden and his family and his wife. I love all of them, and they served us well, but there were bleak days. There were times of real confusion. There was ISIS. There were men being marched out to a beach in orange suits and being slaughtered, decapitated. There were just as many people coming across the border, maybe not as much at once. There were detainment centers being built. There definitely was an economic lull where it just crashed. And of course we saw the rising of the people during Obama's administration. Did he pass a lot of great things? Yeah. Did we belong in Afghanistan? No. And I think that's the only thing Joe Biden was able to say is, I wasn't for the whole Afghanistan shock and I wasn't for it. Okay, I wasn't for the way that went down. But my job as a vice president was to stand by the president and support him. And I can't. Oh, it's a secret. Maybe if you were a vice president, you would understand why I can't speak to that. But my job was to support no matter what he thought. So now he thinks different. So I think what a lot of people were asking him is, in this very horrible setup for a debate with very limited time is, what made you change your mind? When did you change your mind? Did you evolve? Because people can evolve. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I used to believe in abortion and now I don't, or I used to think it was okay for gay marriage, now I don't. I mean, the people have had these big flops, and they've done that and flip-flopped all the time. Or I thought it was really a good idea to do healthcare this way, but I'm rethinking it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with a candidate, and I like that Kamala Harris said that. There's nothing wrong with a candidate saying, I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna try it, and we're gonna listen to the people, and we're gonna listen to the doctors, and we're gonna see. Do I think her plan makes sense? No. I think when 9 people on the stage who are bright and articulate and are highly educated and have worked in the system and have really read her plan well are all misinterpreting it, then it's not written well. Okay, that's just how that goes. It's not, and if it's not written well for them to explain it, they're not misinterpreting it. It's not written well. How are everyday people going to understand it when they're already dealing with catastrophic illness? They're on medications, they're having to go to doctor appointments they're anxious about, their money is, being dwindled away from sickness. Again, I think Marianne Williamson hit on the healthcare crisis, and that is, why are we a disease-driven country? If we're not going to get honest about the fact that government is in bed with the insurance companies and Big Pharma, if we're never going to get honest about that, we're never going to be able to admit that the only reason there is so much need for health care and people are so sick is because we are disease-driven for profit. Does that mean there's no such thing as real disease and people aren't really sick? No. It means that the actual way that medicine is practiced, other than acute medicine, quite often makes more disease and chronic disease. And why is that? Okay, she also spoke to the deep woundings that needed to be healed in our country. I think we need to hear more of Marianne Williamson, and I'm upset to see that it looks like she hasn't made the cut to be on the stage. That's what they're saying. Only 7 candidates 9 hours ago have made the cut. Because, let's read it. New York Times, let's see. I don't know, my phone might bleep out on me. Sometimes I can get these things, sometimes I can't. Alright, New York Times. Only 7 candidates have qualified for the next Democratic debate. While 20 presidential candidates debated this past week, far fewer are assured the chance of doing so in September. Why September? Why can't we have it in August? Moving right along. It will be twice as hard for the 2020 Democrats to qualify for the next debate. In addition to the 7 who already have, 3 are within striking distance. Okay, let's see who made it. Who made the cut? So you made it through the second. Congratulations. Okay, September 12th and 13th. In Houston. Candidates will need to have, let's look at what they need, 130,000 unique donors. I don't know what unique donors means. I'm going to figure that out. And register at least 2% support in 4 polls. What polls? To ask some average Americans like me sitting here. They have until August 28th to reach these benchmarks. So, it's money that's buying the vote, support, and unique money. These criteria could easily have the field. The first 2 sets of debates included 20 of the 24 candidates, but the New York Times analysis of polls and donor numbers show that only 10 to 12 candidates are likely to make the 3rd round. 7 candidates have already met both qualifications. Okay, let's see, and are guaranteed a next spot. Let's see who's making it in. Joseph Biden. So Joe made it in. Corey, of course, because he came along and Don't be dipping in Kool-Aid, you don't know the flavor. Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, of course. Now, I'm surprised by this. Beto O'Rourke. Bernie Sanders, of course. Elizabeth Warren. Three other candidates are very close. Julian Castro and entrepreneur Andrew Yang have surpassed the 130,000 donations, and each have 3 or 4 of the qualifying polls, while Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota has met the polling threshold and has about 120 donors. Money, money, money. Beyond them, only 3 candidates have even a single qualifying poll to their name. The impeachment activist, Tom Steyer, 2 polls, Representative Tulsi Gabbard, Hawaii, 1, and former Governor John Hickenlooper, I can never say his name right, 1 of Colorado. We asked all 3 of their campaigns to provide donor numbers. Ms. Gabbard had just under 114. You know what really sucks about this? I don't see some people I really want in there. I want Kirsten Gillibrand in there. I want Marianne Williamson in there. I want Julian Castro definitely in there. I don't want to see Corey in there. We're throwing it away with Corey. We're throwing it away. It's going to wax poetic, get all loud and weird, and I don't want to see it. I love you, Corey, but boo-hoo. No. If all we're looking for is breakout freaking moments in a debate to get people to, what is this? Let me entertain you. And now everybody buys in to get their candidate to go, wind them up, watch them go. It's a broken system, folks. Never have I been more assured of how broken this entire election proceeding is and what a joke it is. What an absolute joke it is. Got a few big spenders in there, you're in. Got more supporters, you're in. When I was in high school, I was in a little contest called the Bocce Queen. And one of our social studies teacher, really cool dude, who was social policy, social studies, geography, all the cool stuff, history, taught us all about marching, activism. It was during the Nixon years. He loved to play bocce, and he got a bocce team together at our high school, and we had a bocce parade, and he just thought it would be really good for the morale of our high school. And came and he asked me, he said, Maria, do you want to be the bocce queen for the bocce festival? And I was like, what? And it meant they had to take a picture of me and put it up in the commons where the seniors and the juniors went to, and alongside a picture of a freshman, a junior, a sophomore, a senior, and a jar of money. And whoever got the most money in the jar with the picture became the bocce queen. And it wasn't both, it was how much money is in the jar. And I really learned a lesson there, like, what the frick? After my brother and all of his friends had put in as much money as they could, I lost. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like that. And, you know, we all got to ride in the car, the bocce parade. But it just reminds me of that. It's so bizarre. It's so freaking bizarre. I love that Kirsten Gillibrand has really gotten a lot done in New York, and she really has gotten a lot. She has brought people together. I love that she said in half-hearted, you know, in a fun kind of way, that the first thing she would do in the White House is disinfect it. Okay, I didn't like that she brought up the whole woman in the workforce, because I feel like Joe Biden has so many governmental ghosts of the past to come and haunt him that he was never a clear, he doesn't belong there. I'm sorry, Uncle Joe, you don't belong there. You're going to have to be apologizing through the entire process. And already Donald Trump is already picked. I think I'm going to be going up against Joe. You know who I wanted to see him go up against? Elizabeth Warren and Marianne Williamson. Or Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. That's who I wanted to see him go up against. Julian Castro, I absolutely adore him. There's a lot. He's got a lot. This man in the White House, who Marianne Williamson calls a phenomenon, and she's right. He's a symptom, and he is a phenomenon. Is already digging for dirt about every candidate possible. He's got his people, and we're not his people. Are going to dig away and find stuff on. And if they can't find stuff on Joe Biden, they're going to look for his kids. If they can't find, and there's enough on Joe Biden's, because the longer you've been in government, the more you got against you, which Kamala Harris has proven, and Tulsi Gabbard is proving with Kamala Harris. They can all like knock and attack each other. And if that's what they're being prepared to do, and if that's what determines who's in the race, then it's rigged from the freaking beginning. It just is. So, boy, that makes me wonder about a lot of elections, eh? Okay, so, again, I don't understand Kamala's medical plan. Again, I think we are a disease-driven country, and until we get to the root of why that money matters so much, that we realize that medical schools are being taught to look for disease, and medicine is so specialized for each and every little disease, we're never gonna rid it. I'm looking for people that are going to be fixing the infrastructures, the bridges, the subways, the trains, the planes. I'm looking for people that are going to be on the job. Yeah, at 3 o'clock in the morning, but people that are going to be accountable, and that means in the housing too. Hold on, that means in housing and FEMA too. Yeah. It's just people that are going to be accountable way down here. When you pick up your phone to call the Social Security office because you need a letter to bring here, or you are dropped and you might become homeless, and it takes you, and this goes to Governor Cuomo, it takes you 9 days of being on the phone and your battery on your phone going dead 4 times to get through, because the Social Security office says, guess what? We're having a busy time, and we'll get back to you when we get back to you. We'll try again later. Try tomorrow. Try the next day. Try the next day. Oh, we're busy. You finally get somebody who answers the phone, and they're like, wait. So you get a real person. Instead of the music, you get a real person. And that real person says, hi, Social Security, I'll be right with you. And then they drop you. Oh, that's not where it ends. There. Say you have to get medical transportation. Now you have to call for medical transportation. Here in Monroe County, Governor Cuomo. Okay, so I'm glad I'm making this video. So this is your wonderful Medicare, Medicaid program. People that don't have cars and are sick, when they're sick, need transportation to procedures and don't have family or someone to bring them. Guess what? They're only allowed 24 rides, and they have to call 3 to 5 days ahead of time, medical transportation, and set up the medical transportation, and they might be on the phone all day, only to have someone finally pick up the phone and drop their call. So now you need whole new caseworkers who just sit on the phone all day and call for transportation. Okay? It's like that with insurance companies too. Say you got a patient who needs another appointment, but they've reached their limit of what Medicaid, Medicare, or what any insurance company would pay, you got to get a threshold. You got to get an increase in your threshold of doctor visits. How long do you think people will be on the phone? You got to hire people to sit in a doctor's office and be on the phone all day. Now your doctor that you waited to see, that you waited hours to get the appointment, that then you waited hours to get a cab ride, that then you drove in circles with a whole bunch of other people in the cab with you, dropping off people, and you prayed and you held your breath that you were going to get there in time because there was a 15-minute window of time. Now your doctor, he has about 2 seconds to see you because they've been running around trying to get insurance to cover a test they need to do for this one and that one. And you just time doctors' hands. You're making people that are sick want to just give up and say, forget it. I'm not going to be compliant. Not going to do what the doctor says because it's too hard. Too hard. I'm going to listen to my body and do it my way. I'm going to go to God and say, you are my great physician. You can heal me. I'm not going to go to all these blood tests. I'm not going to go to all these ultrasounds. I'm not going to go to all these MRIs, these CAT scans. I'm not going to go to all these biopsies. I'm not going to go to all these follow-ups. Because if I went to every single thing my doctor wanted me to go to, I'm way beyond the threshold. I'm way beyond the transportation rides. Then you have to go down to Medicaid and pay your spend down. Okay? And you can go there 12 days ahead of time and pay 2 months, 3 months, 4 months in advance for a doctor appointment that is 15 days away. And you are giving them cash, and they won't even give you a receipt. They put your cash right on the copier. Yeah, this is at your Department of Social Services. They used to put the cash. They can't take money order. They can take a check. Cash. They put the cash right on the copier. They used to make a copy of it, hand it back to you. You gave this much cash, the date, the spend down, what month it was for. Because some people have to buy their Medicaid, or they don't get their ride. They don't get to their doctor. They can't just go get their blood work done. They can't just go to the doctors. Okay, these are the real issues. I went to Medicaid to pay my spend down for August and September. I went, let me just give you a couple of examples. In May, I went on May 29th to pay for June and July. It didn't get put into the system until I had doctor appointments the first and second week of June. It didn't get put into the system until the third week of June. 2 caseworkers. It's always the same 2 caseworkers. I just didn't do it. Where did my $50 go that I brought in cash? $58 in cash. Where did it go? I saw where it went. It went on the machine, and they refused to give me a copy, and they wrote down a little receipt, and all I could write down is paid spend down, because they can't pay the amount you give or how many receipts you bring in and what it equals. They can't write that down. Okay, so a copy went in one envelope and the cash went in a blue envelope, but who went to lunch with my money? Where'd it go? Because each time I have to call and say, okay. I stayed on the phone forever with the medical transportation, and they don't see me in the computer, so I'm calling you, and the vendor can't set up a ride with me, and I paid it on this date, full amount, and a customer service person, after waiting on the phone half a day, another day, can go into it and look and say, yeah, you paid. Wow, you paid. Okay. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so and Mrs. So-and-so are your workers. They rotate, and they've got your money, but they just didn't process it yet. Ooh, what's going on with Medicaid, people? What's going on with Medicaid spend downs when you have to go in with your receipts that you can put towards your medical spend down and your cash that goes towards your spend down? Where's that cash go? Who's going to lunch with it? And then sticking it in, waiting for the client to call and say, you know what? I can't go to my doctor appointment. I can't get my cab ride because, and I came in there a month ago and paid it for this, and I still can't get in. And then they're like, oh, we're going to expedite it. You can get in 24 hours. Where was it all that time? These are the things we need to look at. These things. Yeah, to look at those things. We need to look at why Big Pharma can just decide, I'm no longer making that drug. I'm merging with this company over here. I'm merging with this company over here. And we're going to make like a shit drug with, go look up the active ingredients in the drug you're buying. They actually lower the ingredient that you need and are filling those pills with fillers, dyes, and junk that the FDA is saying it's passable, it's equivalent to. Why isn't it getting better? We have a big problem with medical health care and specialized medicine and a label for this and a label for that and chronic this and chronic that. What about housing? What about housing? What about Section 8 housing? What about making housing more affordable? Oh, I hear you, Bernie. I hear everyone. The minimum wage needs to go up to 15, but the minute the minimum wage goes up, you got slumlords out here that are going to raise the rent even higher. They're up to almost $1,000 right now for a 1-bedroom in New York. 1 and 2 bedrooms, 1,000. And as long as you got Section 8 paying the higher portion, and we're not paying the lower portion, then keep upping it and keep going up. Okay? And as long as they can keep getting grants and vendors that will work with them to fix stuff, and it's made to break so that you need more grants to fix it. I saw a very interesting video the other day where a gentleman explained SNAP program and food stamps very well, which I've said for years, is don't get on any programs because you're making money for the government. You are not ever going to get ahead on a program that you're eligible for. Okay? And until these candidates, every single one of them admits that there are no programs out there but to make money for the government. They do not help people. They keep people existing subpar. That's what they do. That's all they do. There is no way to work your way out of that cycle, especially if you've been on Medicaid, Medicare, or disability. Even if you go to work on disability, the minute you make a little bit more, just a little bit more, you're off this and you're off that. Good luck. Same way they made the opiate crisis, right? Good luck there. I can't give it to you anymore. Good luck. You got a crisis. Oh, now we need more pain clinics. Now we need more rehabs. Now we're going to make more money with more people in rehab. It's insane. And until the government starts talking about how actually what Marianne Williamson said is so true, it's so dark and corrupt. It's so nasty and stanky money. Money, money, money. And Donald Trump knows that. Money, money, money. He knew it going in. And he's got something on everyone. So before you all eat each other up on the candidate stage, wherever you're debating, my feeling in Agita News is you're gonna do it. You're gonna shoot off each other's feet, aren't you? Get one candidate in there that can go against Donald Trump. Get one in there, or he's in for another 4 years because you guys are too busy with your spotlight moments. You know who isn't? Elizabeth Warren isn't worried about that. I haven't seen her once, not once, grandstand or come out with some breakout blah, blah, blah. I haven't seen her do that once. Bernie is going to keep moving everybody ahead. I don't think he really wants it. Joe Biden, I think he just, I don't know. I'm not feeling you, Joe. I'm not. I love you. I'm not feeling you for president. I'm not feeling like your heart's really in it, I'm sorry. I've said that from the beginning. I got a bad feeling about you running. You need to just... Marianne Williamson, I so much wanted you in there for so many reasons. You get it. You really get it on such a deeper level. This old tired world just isn't ready for you, kiddo. It ain't. It's going to come down to the regular. It's going to come down to the people rising up, just like Puerto Rico, and saying, enough. You all stink. Every last one of you stink. We want open public government elections. We want to choose our own people to be in it. So I think we're going to see marching in the streets. They'll be marching in the streets. Because this is not gonna. This is just. It's no good. Can't blame CNN moderators. Can't blame the debate preparers. This is a really rotten system. It's broke. It's systemically broke, and it is not even electable. It's a joke, and that's why Donald Trump got in, because it's a joke. All right, and he knows it. Tulsi Gabbard scared the bejiggers out of me. I will say that when she gave her, I hope I'm saying your name right, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, is it? I don't know. She said there's like missiles pointed at us everywhere, and we've been lied to. We have 30 minutes to take shelter. One of those missiles goes off, 30 minutes to take shelter, but there is no shelter. Sort of like telling somebody shelter in place, but you have nowhere to go. Shelter. And when you really bring it down to that, when you realize we've got missiles pointed at us all the time, and a president that's tweeting out secure information that's compromising him and our country, then it really matters that we get him out of there. But not for the same old Democratic, not the same old. No, you know what? People don't want the same old in there. They don't want an insider. They want an outsider who understands what's going on. So I say Elizabeth Warren is still enough of an outsider who's been on the inside enough to know. I say that's why people are not going to go for Bernie this time around. And he's got too much money. I was interested in Andrea. I'm very interested in Marianne Williamson and Elizabeth Warren. Kamala Harris, I think, is you got to change your note. One note, one note, one note, one note. And I love you. I love you. Okay, but one note, one note, one note. I'm gonna see your nicer side. You can take your prosecutory stuff off. I want to see your more gentle side, right? Joe Biden, I'm not going to say to Joe Biden, oh God, go enjoy your life. You have had so much go on in your life, and I don't feel like you have anything new to offer us. I'm sorry, and I love you. Go enjoy your life, your wife, your children, your grandchildren, and enjoy your life. You deserve that. Because he's going to eat you alive. No matter how much you want to heal the soul and fight for the soul of the country. Again, I'm going to leave that to God. I'm going to leave that to God. Alright? So, okay, I'm done. That is my Agita News recap. Corey, CNN folks are right. If you're going to say don't drink, you're dipping in Koolaid. You don't even know the flavor of. Okay. you gotta take your church suit off and your business suit off and just yeah, you gotta say it like it is. And I can say this because I went for years to an all-black church, all black, and I saw how, and this is something that's always interested me, how these very, very African American black folks could suddenly just sound completely white, put on their suits, get up there to talk the sermon, and they sounded like they were in a white business world. It's always amazed me how black people have to act white, sound white, put on their white, persona. But then I would get to see them at the picnics and all around the church stuff, and how they just relax and play their music, and their language would change, the body movement would change, the lingo. And that is what happened. That is what happened on CNN this morning. And Allison Camerado and John Virgin didn't know what to do. They were both sitting there like this. John Virgin looked like, really, April Ryan. The other names of the people there are escaping me. There was April Ryan. There were 4 African American commentators, and Allison Camerado and John Virgin. And 3 out of the 4 were all saying Corey needed to really just own that moment and enunciate that you're oh, you're dipping in the Koolaid and you don't even know what flavor it is. You don't even know what you gotta. He had to like do a little neck snap roll with it, and you don't even know what flavor it is. He needed to really do that and own his blackness. Yeah, own every bit of his black manhood. Yeah, but he said it in the most polite white man way. Excuse me, sir, but we have a saying in our neighborhood: you're dipping in the Kool-Aid and you don't know the flavor. Own your black hood, Corey. Okay, own it. Own your skin. And it was so uncomfortable to see how uncomfortable Allison and John looked like. They both looked, when they saw their co-commentators, their colleagues, really backyard talking to each other and relaxing. And the one gal said to the one guy wouldn't relax, and she said, "You just need to relax." Let's just be who we are, for God's sakes. Just be who we are. Why do we have to pretend to be something we're not? Why do you have to be prepared for a debate? Why? Why can't you just go out there and answer the questions? You already know in your heart people are going to attack you if you attacked them at the last debate. I got so much more from the after interviews that folks did with CNN. All the candidates, night 1, night 2. And I mean, I just think the debates are silly at this point. They made sense when John Kennedy and Richard Nixon did them, but at the advent of television, it really changes things. It's all about the show, folks. So, it's more for Saturday Night Live to play with. It's must-see TV. It's making a ton of money for people. So I say, Time Warner, Warner Brothers, why not pay? Yeah, cough up some money. If you really want that must-see TV 2 nights in a row. Now, the DNC has said, no, it's only going to be 1 night now. 2 nights is too much. So, okay, you want that one coveted night of must-see TV? Give the candidates more time to debate. Right? You got time for your post show later. Alright, this has been a long video, longer than I wanted it to go, so I'm going to upload it now. Take care, everyone. Have a nice day, and thanks for listening.